Hello. Today we are going to present our final presentation about our essay. We are going to talk about the narco traffic in the Colombian professional football. Our group is myself, Diego Alejandro Borges, and my partner, Julian David Lopez Fierro.
So let's start with some important context about Colombian football. The Colombian Professional Football League was founded in 1948. That was a key moment in our country, as it formalized the structure of football and created opportunities for our professional athletes. Now, in 2025, the league has existed for almost 77 years. The very first team to crown a champion was Independiente Santa Fe, and since then, the league was crowned champion from 16 different clubs. Among them, some major teams like Atlético Nacional has become the most successful and winning the most titles overall. But this rise in football success was not always due to athletic talent alone. The 1980s and 1990s mark a period when the power of drug money began to influence the results of the game. Our objective today is to show how narco traffic affect football and how drugs lord youth clubs to launder money, gain influence, and even intimidate officials and opponents. We will focus on two clubs, for being specific, Nacional and América de Cali.
Now I'm going to talk about like the first case. The first case is about Pablo Escobar and Atlético Nacional. This case talk about how this narco guy decide to change the history and the completely history of the Colombian professional football because he decided to use the team as a way to show his power. So he decided to put money into the team, bringing like important players and also. um using his money to scare some referees and some players to allow Atlético Nacional to win different matches. The one that is like the most famous is the Copa Libertadores and how it changed the Atlético Nacional history. It talks about how Nacional won the Copa Libertadores in the 80s, in the 90s, sorry, because they decide, Paulo Escobar decide to scare the referees that were decide to be in the match on the semifinals, and he told them that they need to give some priority to Atlético Nacional, or if not, he were going to kill their families and them. So he decided to give them like some money to affect the game. But it's important to say that the referees don't have like any influence of the match. They don't take any decision against the other team, and Atlético Nacional won like in a fairly way. It's important to say that this team was key for Paulo and his relationship with the team because he was searching power and having a team and showing to the entire Latin America that he has the power to crown a team in the Libertadores Cup and also to manage as he wants, bringing all the like the players that he wants was like extremely beneficial for him. It's also important to say that the referees that were like that were in the match were Abel Genoco, Carlos Espioto, and Juan Baba. That after all they talk with some reporters and talk about the situation that happened during that time. We would like to talk about one like specific sentence that was like said by an important journalist here in Colombia, that is Carlos Antonio Vélez, and he said, Pablo Escobar support Nacional not only with money, but also with the idea that if his team won, he won too. National represent not only the club but also the image and his power, and it's like a short sentence that talks about like all the entire situation because Pablo Escobar only wants this team for power because it's some people closer to him say that he was like a fan of Independiente Medellín.
De un momento a otro el fútbol parece quedar entre paréntesis. El automóvil que avanza por las calles de Medellín a plena luz del día no solo se dirige hacia el hotel, sino que se adentra en un territorio oscuro, con leyes propias.
El fútbol colombiano era muy parroquial, no teníamos dimensión, nuestros clubes no competían con éxito en la Copa Libertadores y no tenía esa trascendencia que viene a tomar esa dinámica a partir de la inversión en el año 77, donde aparecen unos actores a dinamizar nuestro fútbol.
En 1977 tuvimos una crisis económica terrible por la inflación. Los ricos regionales, que eran los que históricamente eran los dueños de los equipos de fútbol en Colombia, todos entraron en crisis. ¿Quiénes llegaron a salvarlos? Los nuevos ricos.
Me siento orgulloso de pertenecer a la comunidad del municipio de Envigado, porque en esos lugares he conseguido lo más lindo y lo más preciado que tengo en mi vida: mi esposa, mis amigos, mis compañeros de oficina y de trabajo.
Ellos llegaron a salvar las economías regionales porque tenían demasiado dinero.
Nosotros hemos generado la mayor parte de empleo del país. Le hemos dado mucho por venir a Colombia.
Los narcotraficantes frente a esas cantidades de dinero tenían que manejarlas y una forma de lavar el dinero era meterlos en alguna actividad y yo pienso que la actividad más llamativa era el fútbol.
Prácticamente todos los equipos del fútbol colombiano tenían un narcotraficante detrás en los 80s.
En el América de Cali estaban los hermanos Rodríguez Orejuela, Miguel y Gilberto. En Millonarios estaba Rodríguez Gacha. En Nacional, por supuesto, pues estaba Pablo Escobar.
Si bien nunca fue el dueño de Atlético Nacional, estaban los intereses de Pablo Escobar ahí. Quería que un equipo de su tierra fuera el mejor equipo del mundo. No el equipo de Cali, de los Rodríguez, no el equipo de Bogotá, Millonarios. No, necesitamos que los equipos antioqueños brillen.
Pablo Escobar Gaviria, lo que llamamos es el hincha sandía, verde por fuera, rojo por dentro. Él era hincha del Independiente Medellín, es el equipo de las personas menos favorecidas de la ciudad, pero él apoyaba al Nacional, pero por territorialidad.
Todos los jugadores del fútbol colombiano querían estar en estos equipos porque eran los equipos más ricos, eran los equipos que mejor pagaban, y entonces teníamos unos equipos absolutamente de ensueño. El América de Cali en los 80s empieza a contratar a las más grandes estrellas del continente. Llegó a tener una nómina de 150 futbolistas. 150 futbolistas no tiene hoy el Real Madrid, 150 futbolistas no tiene el PSG.
Teníamos jugadores en esa época que podían ganar 12 millones de pesos de salario mensuales y una casa en Colombia valía, por ejemplo, un promedio de 10 millones.
Y ahí está la ambivalencia, porque por un lado teníamos el mejor fútbol del continente en los 80s, y por el otro lado teníamos a unos dueños que eran unos delincuentes, asesinos, responsables de la época de terror más grave, violenta y triste en la historia del país.
Julián,
Siguiente diapositiva, hermano. Ya. So uh, let's talk about America de Cali, another major club that rose to power during this era, and its connection to the Rodriguez Orejuela brothers, who lead the Cali cartel. Unlike the clear ties between Escobar and Nacional, the link between the Rodriguez brothers and America de Cali was more direct. The cartel was deeply involved in club management and financing. They used drug money to found the club, helping to recruit top-tier international players from Argentina, Uruguay, and other countries. Some of the most iconic players in America's history came during this period, including Gabriel Caña Hernández and Ricardo Gareca. But this financial support had a hidden cost. In 1999, the United States government placed America de Cali on the Clinton list, which was a blacklist of companies and individuals suspect of drug cartel or drug dealing business. This meant that the club assets were frozen and they're paralyzed for a time. International transactions were blocked, and it was banned from international competitions like Copa Libertadores. The U.S. Department of the Treasury explained the Clinton list impacted several Colombian football clubs, including América de Cali, due to financial support from the Rodriguez Orejuela cartel, and this was a turning point. The international reputation of America Cali and of Colombian football in general was badly damaged because we don't have the support and the evidence to show that we are not a drug dealing country. So that affect in a really bad way how the foreigners think about our football and our society.
So now to talk about like of the conclusions about our essay. First is that the international image change and international involves reshaping of how a country or organization is viewed globally. This requires like an effort in diplomacy, media, culture, and economics. This means that, for example, the image of the country changed a lot because, for example, in the sport, the Brazilian and Argentinian teams talk that the Colombian ones were always trying to buy the referees and trying to be tricky instead of competing in their competitions, and also that in Colombia we were always trying to use our narco guys to trying to solve like different problems in the country.
Yes, even if the 80s and 90s decade brought a great sporting success, clubs won titles, stadiums were full, and international players came to Colombia. But underneath that glory, there was a dark side that started with violence, corruption, and fear. Today, Colombian football is still recovering from that legacy, while clubs like Atlético Nacional, América y Cali continue to compete. Their history is forever marked by their past and connections to drug money. This period teaches a powerful lesson that is, when money and power take over sport, the true spirit of competition is lost. And although football survived that era, we must always remember the danger of mixing crime with culture and power with passion. So the resolve of dedication and teamwork and relentless pursuit of excellence, and the athletes even spend countless of hours honing their skills, pushing their bodies to the limit, is not enough in that era to be a success. You will need to have a much support of this cartel if you want to win. So it's important to repeat again that it's dangerous to mix the crime with all the things that are passionate, and people should not let themselves crazy about things that are bad, actually.
It's important to say that nowadays the people of other countries keep saying that the Colombian teams are managed by narco guys and we are like with illicit money. And for our last activity, we have like for our activity, we have like an a Kahoot that is going to be made by a partner that was like paying attention to the presentation, and he's going to solve it. So Carlos Parra, you are going to solve the next questions.
Okay.
The first question is, when was the Colombian Professional Football League founded?
Okay, so I know the answer, and I think that is the color yellow in 1948.
So let's see. Yes, as we said in our introduction, it was founded in 1848.
So now we want to ask you about which team won the first FPC championship.
I remember that the first champion in the professional football in Colombia was Independiente Santa Fe.
Now, the third question. Who was the drug lord known for his alleged support of Atlético Nacional?
I think that yellow Pablo Escobar.
Correct.
Okay, what event suggests external influence in a Copa Libertadores match involving Atlético Nacional?
Mm, I think that the answer is red. Yes.
The next one is, how was América de Cali affected by its connection to the Cali cartel?
As you mentioned, I think that the answer is red because I listened about the team was added to the Clinton list and banned from the international competition. So I think that the answer is red.
Well, you're on fire. The next question is, what role did drug lords like Escobar and the Rodriguez Orejuela brothers use football for?
Mm, mm, I think that the answer is yellow, power and image laundering.
Now we have, what was one long-term consequence of drug trafficking involvement in Colombia football?
I think that the answer is blue because the reputation of the professional football in Colombia was damaged.
Okay, the last one. The name of the people involved in a were Carlos Rodriguez Orejuela and Miguel Rodriguez Orejuela?
False.
So you got an 8/8. Excellent, Mr. Pat.
Okay, thank you.
So that was the end of our presentation. I hope you to enjoy our point. So thanks for listening and thanks to Mr. Parra for complete this task.